Hi everyone, Jim here. Welcome to my channel. The holiday season is upon us. I hope everybody's ready for Christmas. I'm not quite ready, but hopefully I'll get things sorted out very soon. This I'm going to do like a channel reading update. It's going to be a little all over the place, but I wanted to update you on what I've been reading and maybe a little bit of what's upcoming for 2026. As you know, it is Deadly December, the non-event created by Steve Donahue on his channel, and I know he'd like to think that he's a lone wolf in this, but I have joined him in reading mysteries for December, and I will share them with you in a minute. Hopefully, there's other people out there who's joined in Deadly December, and you're reading mysteries for the month of December. It's a perfect month to read cozy mysteries and the like. So comment down below if you have joined in Deadly December. I started out reading Nero Wolfe, The Black Mountain. I was very happy to get this. This is a little rarity for the Nero Wolfe series, because Nero Wolfe, a good friend of his, gets killed on the streets of New York. He gets shot, and Nero Wolfe and Archie Goodwin are trying to track down the murderer, and as a result, Nero Wolfe has to leave his brownstone, and he has to travel overseas to the place of his birth in Montenegro, and track down the murderer. And in the process, we meet his adopted daughter, who doesn't like him very much. And so we meet her, we meet some other characters, and Archie Goodwin goes along with him on his trip. And it's kind of a reversal for them, because usually Archie, he's the investigator in the team. And, he'll investigate, he'll interview people, he'll come back to Nero Wolfe, and he'll relay what he found out, like verbatim, to Nero Wolfe. But Archie Goodwin is kind of out of his element in this country, because he can't speak the language. So as a result, it's Nero Wolfe talking to everybody, interviewing everybody, and then relaying it to Archie Goodwin what he found out, because Archie Goodwin, it is told from his point of view. So that was kind of interesting. And we run into the house that Nero Wolfe was born in. And it's a really good book. I'm really glad I read it, and this has really made me want to buy some more Nero Wolfe books. I only have maybe 5 or 6 on my shelf, and I'm going to be picking these up from now on. Really good, highly recommended. As I said, a little different than the normal formula that Rex Stout did for the books, which is a good thing. It was, and it kind of, I found it kind of, it talks more about the relationship that Archie Goodwin and Nero Wolfe have. And when they're overseas, Nero Wolfe basically calls Archie Goodwin his son, because they're kind of undercover. There's espionage, there's stuff going on, and if these people knew who Nero Wolfe was, he'd be killed. So they had to go undercover, and he calls Archie Goodwin his son. So that speaks a little bit about their relationship and the affection they have for one another. I think it's kind of a father-son relationship, and I think that was done on purpose by Rex Stout. But really, really great book. I really enjoyed that. I'm going to be reading many more of them as time goes by. So, also for Deadly December, I had just recently picked this up, and I figured, okay, I'm going to read through this one. Now, this had a lot of the stories in it weren't necessarily mystery. A lot of them were maybe suspense thrillers. There's a John D. MacDonald story in here that's more of a thriller and less of a mystery. But there's also some pretty good mysteries in here as well. There's a Bill Pronzini story. We have Amos Walker's story by Lauren D. Estelman in here. story by Bill Kreider. There's a Max Allan Collins story in here, Marcia Mueller. So I kind of tore through this, and I really enjoyed the stories. But the standout, well, oddly enough, I mean, Sarah Paretsky is in big letters on the cover, and that was probably my least favorite story in this anthology. I like the John D. MacDonald one. Howard Brown's got a story in here. So, that was very enjoyable. I really enjoyed that, and I love anthologies and short stories, so that was interesting. Now, as you all know, if you've been watching my channel, I've been acquiring a lot of Mike Shayne mystery magazines. I'm going to pause here for a second and show you the stack I have. Hold on. So, this is my stack of Mike Shayne mystery magazines. Most of them recently acquired. I had 3 or 4 that I've had for years, but I decided to start picking them up when I can. So these are all in order at this time, except for this one here. This one is April 1966. I decided to start at the earliest one, and I'm going to read through each Mike Shayne mystery magazine from cover to cover. I'm not in any hurry to do it, but it is a project I want to do, and so I read through this one. And this was really good. There's some very cool stories in here. There's one by Cornell Woolrich called "Those Who Kill," and it portrays it's about a man who goes out for a walk, and he comes back. His wife has been killed, and of course he's accused of her murder. So the whole story is kind of his desperate attempt to prove his innocence, and it was a fascinating story. And there's one in here by a writer named Joseph Payne Brennan, and it features his character called Lucius Leffing. Now, he's greatly inspired by Sherlock Holmes. It reads very much like a Sherlock Holmes story. Here, I'll show you and it's pretty much a straight-laced detective story, and I enjoyed it. It was okay. But then, when I was done the story, I Googled the character and the author, and it turns out that Lucius Leffing is a paranormal investigator, even though there was no signs of the paranormal in this particular story. But there's been a couple of compilations of his stories where he does investigate the paranormal. So, yeah, that was really enjoyable. And, of course, you got a Mike Shayne story in here, and a lot of them are pretty pedestrian detective stories, nothing outstanding about them. These weren't, even though Brett Halliday has his name on these stories, these were written by different authors over the years, but enjoyable all the same. So that's my plan with the Mike Shayne magazines. I'm just going to read through them from the earliest to the latest, and I do have a couple of more that I put a bid in on eBay, so hopefully I can pick some of them up. So that's okay. The next one I read for Deadly December. I just finished this one. This is called The Chiffon Scarf by Minion G. Eberhard. Now, I didn't expect too much going into this, but I was very pleasantly surprised. This was a brilliant book. I kind of expected her to be kind of an Agatha Christie clone. And I mean, there's similarities without a doubt. There's a whole cast of characters, but she did it so brilliantly. I was entranced through the whole thing. The writing is brilliant. The mystery is complex and satisfying. And there's a friction between the characters going on. There's a lot of stuff going on in this story, and I greatly enjoyed it. This is the first time I've ever read this character. Now, this book is from 1939, and it starts out in I do believe St. Louis. I do believe it starts out in St. Louis, where there's a plane crash, and there's debate whether the plane crash was accidental or whether it was done on purpose. And and this takes place where people had gotten together for a wedding. They've gotten together in St. Louis. They're going to travel to New Orleans to a plantation, and two of the characters are going to get married. The main character's name is Eden, but she's not the one who's going to get married. But Eden, prior to this, has stolen the one woman's fiance 4 years before. And she was invited to this wedding by her friend Averil, and she falls in love with this fiance, who quite possibly falls in love with her as well. So there's all that kind of friction going on. So this plane crash happens, which might possibly be a murder. But they leave on another plane to go to the wedding. But the fiance who built the engine of the original aircraft, it's an experimental engine, he decides not to go to the wedding location. He veers the plane off without anybody knowing. And he lands in the middle of the New Mexico desert, where he has a friend who was an ex-lawman. His name is P.H. Sloan. And this ex-lawman owns a dude ranch in the middle of New Mexico with cabins and the like and all this kind of stuff. It's off season, so there's nobody there. But Jim, this fiance, wants to get to the truth and find the murderer. And all the people on the plane, he figures it's one of them who's the murderer, and he wants his detective friend to find out who murdered these people on the plane, the mechanic and the pilot. So there's another murder. In the meantime, there's another murder in this isolated area in this cabin. So it's complicated, it's complex, there's a lot that goes on, but again, it's satisfying, and there's nothing that really took me out of the story. I know I'm not really explaining it that well, but I thought it was brilliant. I really thought it was brilliant. And this was written in 1939, and she already knew about how to find an isolated setting and location where the characters couldn't really get away easily. You know, there's like the nearest town's like 50 miles away, and the plane is disabled because somebody had cut the fuel line. So there's no way to get out of this area easily. And, people are still writing stories like this, set in some remote snowy mountain cabin or something like that, or on a ship somewhere where nobody can escape. So, I mean, the tropes are there. But they're not done in a boring way at all. I mean, that was a fantastic book. And I have another one of hers, which I probably will be reading soon, and I would be looking for more of her books as I scour the bookstores. So, in the middle of reading my Mysteries for Deadly December, and I'm ongoing with that, I received this book in the mail called Weird Frequencies. Now, this is a book written and compiled, put together by some BookTube friends that I follow. And there's some great stories in here. It's called Weird Frequencies, Strange Stories by Stranger Authors. Mind-bending, exciting, disturbing. 13 stories in the classic pulp tradition that will take you from the edge of the universe to the terrifying void beyond. Now, I tore through this. I just, from cover to cover, I just read them all right through. I loved each and every one. Now, I'm not going to say which one was my favorite, because I hate to do that, because then that kind of leaves the other writers out and maybe feeling a little dejected, and I don't want to do that, because they were all brilliant. They were all so well done, and this is available on Amazon. If I remember, I'll put the link below, and you can pick this up. This was a lot of fun. Some great stories in here. I should go through everyone that wrote a story. Jake from Pulp Mortem. Joseph Gilbert, I think, from Joseph Reed's Books. Brian Rains from Bad Taste Books. Chris from Liminal Spaces. Ira D. DeVario. I should know whose channel that is. Hold on. SF Words of Wonder. We have Tim from Secret Fire Books wrote a story. Andrea at Infinite Text wrote a story. Nick Anderson from the Book Graveyard. Virgil Sign from Literally Books. Eric Wegg from The Outlaw Levi Wallace wrote a story. And Richard Rempel from Vintage SF. And those are, and Wizard Jim from, I should know the names of these channels by now, and News from the Gelding. So yeah, that's fantastic book, and I highly recommend that. That's a great book. And speaking of someone who's written a story for one of these collections, I had a story published in Garbology, and it's a great thing. It's a great thing. And yeah, so pick that one up. What else do I want to talk to you about? Weird frequencies. So what I want to talk about now is maybe some plans I have for 2026. As you know, February's coming up, and February means that Homes is Where the Heart Is will be with us very soon. So I'm trying to get everybody on board to let me know if they're still going to be involved in co-hosting that, and we'll probably do a group read. We haven't decided on what we're going to group read yet, but and I am working on a new t-shirt design. I think I left it too long. It's probably too late to order it now and have it by February, because I'm still working on it and I haven't got it up yet, but I will hopefully get a new t-shirt design up for that very soon. And so that's Homes is Where the Heart Is. And then I'll be doing, of course, Private Eye July in July. And Roy from Roy Reads Anything helped me out a lot. Actually, he did a lot of the work in creating a new, I don't want to call it a bingo card, but it's more of a tic-tac-toe board where we have more prompts for Private Eye July this year. And I won't share that with you right now, but as next year progresses, I will share with you the tic-tac-toe card. And I want to thank Roy, for helping me out with that. He was a big help, and I'm glad he's on board for Private Eye July. And he has also joined us for Homes is Where the Heart Is too, which I'm excited about. And also, speaking of Roy, for his October read, I think his, what does he call it? Neglected Victorian Reads. So he's featuring a neglected Victorian book every month next year. And this one sounded intriguing to me. It's called The Fate of Fenella. He's going to do this in October. And this is written by 24 popular authors of the day, and they each write a chapter in this book. And some of the authors, there's Arthur Conan Doyle, a lot of these I don't know, Bram Stoker, let's see, who else do I see? Roy would know every one of these authors. I don't, but Helen Mathers, Justin H. McCarthy, Frances Eleanor Trollope, Arthur Conan Doyle, May Cromlin, F.C. Phillips, Rita, Joseph Hatton, Mrs. Lovett Cameron, and it goes on and on. So I got this in the mail the other day, and it just sounded intriguing. I'm looking forward to reading that in October. But that's all. I just wanted to update you. It's been a few days. Yeah, so hopefully you guys are all set for the holidays. I mean, it's coming quick. I've got a few things done, but I still have a lot to do. So, I wish you good luck, and I will talk to you very soon. So until next time, you guys take care and keep reading.